survive.
Thanks for that, Jim Lukaszewski, who's here with us this morning. Also here to discuss this scandal, I'm joined by Wes Moore, former armor captain who served in Afghanistan, wrote the best-selling book and the PBS series about veterans coming back, which is airing now. And Adam Kinzinger, a Republican congressman from Illinois, is an Iraq and Afghanistan veteran, still serves as a pilot in the Air National Guard. Welcome to all of you. So questions about whether Shinseki should resign is kind of the political context. But Congressman, let me ask you, how did we get to this moment? So many veterans in the system not being served well enough.
Well, I think that's the big question. I mean, when I got elected in 2010. The issue of VA backlog was on the front burner. People were talking about it. And, you know, there was talk a year ago of should we ask for Shinseki's resignation. A group of a few of us were talking about it. And I don't on the resignation bandwagon, but this has gone from an incompetence and a backlog to something criminal, something where people are hiding veterans' names, people are dying.
People who have been told to wait, we'll get to you, and they're hiding that.
Yeah, and this is absolutely the wrong thing. And I think it's time for Shinseki to resign, because we need to get somebody there. He's a great guy, a great American, but somebody there that knows how to fix the problem.
Jim, you've been covering government for a long time, from the White House to the Pentagon, all over town. I spoke to somebody very high up in the administration who said, you know what, this is a tech problem. This is a technology problem. Shinseki's a good guy, just like HHS, Kathleen Sevilla's very competent, but their departments are too technologically challenged to keep up with the demands that they're trying to place on them.
That's right. First of all, I agree with the congressman. You know, Secretary Shinseki was a great general. He served the military well. But quite frankly, instead of Shinseki, what the VA and the veterans need right now is a General George Patton, somebody who's going to be aggressive and fight politically.
Right.
And Shinseki's not
got that kind of. I mean, what came through from your reporting this week, this is not somebody who necessarily commands the stage to say we're going to get things, we're going to change things.
And that's been his MO throughout his entire career. But very quickly, back to the problem itself. First of all, you have the most entrenched bureaucracy in Washington. You have a VA that is overwhelmed and under-resourced. And I don't care what people say, Shinseki or not, there's just not enough money right now in the federal government to fix it. Other changes have to be made.
You're doing something remarkable on PBS, which is this series about talking to veterans coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan and asking them what that is like to come home. Tremendous demand from our returning soldiers, from men and women who have mental health challenges, who have physical challenges. They're going to need the VA for a long time. It's not just the aging baby boomers from the Vietnam War. Do you despair over how that's possibly going to be addressed?
Well, it's a despair, and also it's a heartbreak, because this is was promised to our men and women. As you know, as I think as Tammy Duckworth said before, she's like, you know, when we asked our men and women to go overseas and serve, they didn't tell us to wait. You know, we didn't tell our country, no, hold off 6 months, hold off for a year on these operations, and then we'll go serve. So why now, when our men and women are coming back home, are we now asking them to wait? And one thing that I really see as this whole thing continues to evolve, these are not new phenomenons in our community. These things have been going on for a decade plus, thinking about Iraq and Afghanistan veterans. And even as what we're not looking for battlefield promotions. We're not looking for moving, you know, seats on a deck. You know, we want genuine accountability, but also genuine action. Not something that's going to take months, but that's going to take weeks to get to the bottom of
One provocative thought from Colonel Jack Jacobs, who's an NBC News contributor, and he wrote an op-ed, Congressman. He said, it makes no sense to have a parallel universe to take care of our veterans, separate doctors, separate facilities, equipment, and even protocols. There's no reason that veterans who would otherwise wait for months to be seen at a VA health clinic can't be seen by private doctors, the same doctors who treat everybody else. Should we get rid of this arm of the VA and put them into the regular health care system?
I'm not going so far as to say get rid of the arm of the VA yet, but I have actually a bill out there that says if you live X amount of miles away from a clinic or a hospital, you can just go to your local doctor. And what you see is that's a good way to get rid of a year-long backlog. If somebody's waiting, let them go to their doctor and bill the VA for it. I mean, this is, again, a situation where there's, I think, things that can be done. And I think what surprised me is, you know, the president has made every decision he can to avoid it looking like he's making some kind of a leadership decision. And I think make a leadership decision, put somebody in there. When Secretary Gates heard about the problem at Walter Reed, he fired a whole bunch of people, and the Walter Reed scandal was fixed in a big way. That can be done in the VA, and it needs to now.
We'll be watching. We're going to leave it there for this morning. Thank you all very much.
You bet.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. We'll take a break here, and coming up, our Pete Williams gets answers to the questions that you wanted to ask. Glenn Greenwald has been out a lot this week, the man who brought NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden's story